I'm the Kodiak, and I'm here to talk about that game because as much as you think you don't want to talk about it, you absolutely do. So I'm here to talk about the Broncos' overtime loss versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and let's dive right into it. So there is nobody on this roster that I can blame for this loss other than Sean Payton. There's nobody in the building that you can blame on for this catastrophe other than our head coach. So the offense, it was not good enough today. I'm really, really concerned that with a Bengals team that was absolutely horrific on defense this entire season, that the Broncos couldn't make positive things happen offensively for like probably 70-80% of the game. And don't get me wrong, like the Mims deep ball was great. It was absolutely fantastic, but we should have put this away, man. I didn't like how we went away from what was working in overtime. I thought we were playing extremely scared. And the offense going 3 and out in overtime 2 straight times, just absolutely unacceptable. Bonus that they got no help from their punter either. And what really, really confused me was, okay, so the first possession of overtime, the season's on the line, and the play call is a deep ball to Troy Franklin, something that has not worked all year long. It could have been a nice story to, hey, that finally worked, and, it got us into the playoffs or whatever. But ultimately, I don't even know what to say about Sean Payton's coaching today. It just wasn't good. I thought the Broncos were very unprepared schematically. I just don't understand why Bo Nix keeps being gun shy. I don't know if that's something that, Sean Payton is panicking on or whatever, but man. So there is nobody that you can look at on this team and say that they cost us the game today. Riley Moss didn't have a great game, and I think everybody can say that. But ultimately, we should have put this one away. And who does that rely on? That falls on the head coach. Now, not absent from blame, however, is our franchise quarterback. And I'm just here to say that Bo Nix has lost some of his magic. And it hasn't been, not to say it hasn't been a great year for us, and not to say that we don't have our franchise quarterback or anything like that. And, ultimately we have seen more moments of him looking like a rookie over the past month than we had. And so we were pretty spoiled in the middle of the year by how well he was playing. And I don't have the numbers to back this up, but he is not good on third downs anymore. Now, what has been critical and why the Broncos have kind of been skidding as of late is because other teams, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 seems to be converted almost effortlessly, almost 50% of the time. But 3rd and 9, I feel like we are completely dead in the water. And in overtime, you gotta hit Troy Franklin, and you also gotta convert that other one that you had an opportunity to. We had more lives than a cat, and the quarterback bears responsibility for not capitalizing on that. And I feel like we're watching Russell Wilson football with less sacks. Whether it's three-pointer or layups, there is nothing intermediate with this offense right now. And unfortunately, I just feel like there's a lot of layers that come into that. A lot of it is due to the fact that we don't have the skill position dudes to actually win consistently in the intermediate game. And I'm not, going to hold that against Bo Nix or anything, but I don't understand why we look so much worse than we had over the course of this season. Now, when, we should be improving, you should be taking steps forward as an offense. And I feel like we're just watching Russell Wilson football with less sacks taken ultimately. So yeah, that's how I feel about Bo Nix right now. Lesson number 3, Riley Moss is still a work in progress. So this is probably the toughest matchup you will have all year. This is probably the toughest passing offense that the Broncos will face all year. And he got absolutely smoked. Could some of that be due to rust? Yes. Could some of that due to the fact that, he wasn't getting much help from the other guys in the back end either in this game. Besides Patrick Surtain. But if Surtain's not available for this game, I don't know what you do to Jamar Chase. And Riley Moss got absolutely smoked. Now, he got his lunch eaten by Tyler Lockett week 1, and that was the only time this year that I had really noticed him, taking or playing not that well. But over the course of this season, he has still been a revelation for us. And, whether T. Higgins went 8 for whatever and 3 touchdowns, I forget what the final stat line is, or whether he went 15 for 700 and 7 touchdowns or something like that. I'm not going to sit here and say that Riley Moss lost the game for us. It's just something to be wary of. Maybe he's just not in that high caliber cornerback 2 range yet because, ultimately this was just not good at all from the Broncos secondary today. I know that you had a really tough matchup, but oh man. Lesson number 4. Pass rush and goal line defense showed up. Okay, so 7 sacks should be enough to win you a game, no matter the circumstance. And they played extremely well, and they gave us multiple chances to succeed. And I think a lot of the reason why we got the multiple chances to succeed was because of our pass rush, being able to stop Burrow on some key plays. And, on those money downs, they were fine. I did not like Burrow converting that 3rd and 13 in the middle or beginning of the fourth quarter. But regardless, it was just, they gave us many, many chances to win. Like, we are not in this position that we are in overtime without them. And this was the second week in a row where Bonitto ghosted. And just for a fact that, people were talking about him as a defensive player of the year candidate. I don't disagree with that, but, your clutch guys, they got to show up in big moments. That's why that Super Bowl 50 team was so great. Not because they were like suffocating defenses left and right 24/7 and nobody can move the ball on them, but because they always showed up. How many times did we see a clutch Von Miller sack, a clutch Aqib Talib pick, a clutch, whatever, just some random fumble giving the Broncos the football that year? And Bonitto definitely could have been a guy that could have made a play for us. And we just have to hope that we have one more week. The defense has one more week in them. So lesson number 5, you have one more chance to shed the same old Broncos label, and it's against the team we absolutely hate. And guess what? Oh, you don't think Kansas City is chomping at the bit to send you out of town and end your season? Whether KC plays Mahomes and the starters or not, you have to be ready. You have to be ready because this is do or die. You have your final chance to shed the label. It doesn't matter if you think Pittsburgh can beat Cincinnati next week and keep you alive. KC will want to play us hard. Andy Reid hates us, and he hates the division. So Kansas City, even if it is Carson Wentz out there, they are still going to want to play hard. Now, can they? That's an entirely different discussion, but you got to be locked in for the next 8 days because you have 8 more days to prove that you are not the same team that we've been watching over the past 8, 9 years. And even if we miss the playoffs, even with everything else, we don't deserve to make it. With everything else that's gone on this year, us having such a cushy lead to, be in the 7th seed, the fact that we are sitting here in this position right now, I would argue we don't deserve to make it right now. But hey, let's regroup. Let's see what these Broncos have in them, and let's just pray that we can get it done over the next 8 days. The past 10 days were tough, and these next 8 days I think are going to be even tougher. So leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.